Hey everyone, welcome to today's webinar. We're going to be talking about spring and summer challenges and natural solutions to help you get through them. My goal today is to help get you some information, whether you're a beginner or whether you're an expert. We'll have something for everyone to learn something new, and whether this is for you or maybe you're a health coach, you want to pass this on to your clients. We're just so glad that you're here. And we're going to fit all of this into an hour, so obviously we can't cover everything. But just know that I'll be sending you a follow-up email with some links and some additional information. So just don't feel like you have to scribble like crazy trying to write down every single thing, because there's going to be a fair amount of content here, and just know that I'll get that to you. So feel free to just, really listen and take it all in. You don't have to write too furiously, because I'll send you a follow-up email, and I'm always available for follow-up questions. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to share my screen and start the presentation. Feel free to use the chat box if you do have any comments or questions. If I miss your question because I'm still teaching, there will definitely be time at the end where you can ask anything you would like. So today we're talking about spring and summer. I don't know where you guys are all coming from. I think everyone's across the country, but for some of you, it might be hard to believe that spring is actually coming. But believe it or not, it'll be here soon. I'm in North Carolina, and it looks like we're turning the corner here. So I am Tricia Sheehan. I'm a certified essential oil coach and a holistic health coach. I attended the Institute for Integrative Nutrition, and I'm also attending the School of Applied Functional Medicine. That's for health coaching. And then I got my certification in essential oils from the Essential Oil Institute, which is founded by Dr. Josh Axe. And he is my primary teacher and influencer when it comes to essential oils. I've got to meet him several times. I've done some work for him, and he is very rooted in science and data, and has a really wonderful approach to oils. I'm very happy to share a lot of information from him, and as well as other places where I have learned. Carmen hopefully will jump in and join us when she can. She's the founder of the Institute for Functional Health Coaching, and just a really remarkable expert when it comes to these topics. So why natural solutions? I know I'm preaching to the choir, and you guys already know why you're here, but just as a quick recap, our environment is very, very toxic. If you think about what's in our air and our food and our water, there's just chemicals everywhere. And this is evident because of the health crisis that's going on. We have so many chronic diseases that are really linked to environment and lifestyle. And well, when you have a health challenge, you go to the doctor, you're just not hearing about all of your options. It's not because they're bad people or trying to hide anything from you, but conventional medicine just does not educate doctors about using food as medicine, or herbs, or essential oils, or lifestyle changes, stress management. They just don't learn about that, so they don't talk to you about it. It's about drugs and surgery and talk therapy, and that's pretty much it. And I'm just really passionate that you deserve to have a full set of options in front of you, and to truly know what are all of your available choices. And there's so much that Mother Nature can do for us. And so that's why we're here today, just to spread this information. Knowledge is power. You are the one that's in charge of your health. Your doctor sees a lot of different patients. No one else can be in charge of it but you. You have to know what's going on. You have to know about what you're putting in or on your body. Knowledge is power. You have the power to truly affect your health. It's not just with your doctor. Your body is brilliant. It was designed to keep you healthy and in balance. It just has to have the right inputs. So we're going to talk about that today. A lot of what I'll be covering today is about essential oils, and we'll be covering other things as well, but the focus is on essential oils. So I want to give you some really basic information to lay a groundwork about how they're used. The first way is topically, which means putting them on your skin. Also aromatically, which means breathing them in, adding them to personal care products like lotion, and for some people, internal use can be appropriate as well. Why are we focusing on essential oils today? Primarily because they work. They work really, really well. They've been used for thousands of years. This is not a new fad. This is not a snake oil thing. They're referenced in the Bible. And if you think about it, modern medicine is really the fad. It's much, much younger than ancient medicine. So essential oils just work, and they're very cost effective. They're only pennies per drop. So it actually can be a much more cost effective way to deal with health challenges. And as far as side effects go, you hear the commercials on TV that you take a drug to address one problem and you end up with another problem. So these instead, natural solutions are meant to work with your body, not to cover up a symptom or work against your body or to trick your body. It's just really working in harmony with your body. So it's just a very easy and effective and affordable solution. All right, so we're going to get into the topics right now. We have the topics I plan to cover are seasonal irritants, bugs, the pool and swimming, and your skin. So seasonal irritants are probably the biggest topic this time of year in the spring when there's yellow dust in the air, and so you get runny nose and itchy eye and irritated throat, and you're congested and exhausted, and it's a really big disruption to your life, and you feel terrible. This used to be me for many years, and I would just dread April and May, and I'd feel terrible. A couple years ago, I switched over to essential oils, and that's all I've needed to use since. I've never had to go to the pharmacy for anything again. So what would you do? I recommend people start with 3 essential oils: lavender, peppermint, and lemon. It's a really powerful combination. There are others that can help as well. Everyone's a little bit different, and it requires some experimentation. It's something called bioindividuality. So what works perfect for me may not be exactly perfect for you. And the oils are very versatile. So what I love to do is help you find what's just right for you, but a wonderful place to start is lavender, peppermint, and lemon. Some others you could try include ginger and eucalyptus. So what would you do with these 3 oils? You put about 2 drops of each into a diffuser, which is shown here on the bottom left, and then you just diffuse it. You can definitely do it bedside, so you have support overnight. You don't have to wake up all funked up and congested. And if you are driving around a lot during the day, you can get a car diffuser. You can also set it in the kitchen while you're working or at your desk, wherever you are. You can have it nearby and just be giving you some support aromatically. That's the most gentle way to experience essential oils. If you need a little more power, you can move on to creating a roller ball. This is a picture of mine on the bottom right. They're very easy to make. You can get these, doTERRA will soon be selling empty roller balls, or you can get them off Amazon. I can make a recommendation on a good one to get. You fill it with around 20 drops of essential oil. It depends on the person you're making it for. It's more diluted for children than adults. But around 20 is what I like. And then you fill the rest with a carrier oil like fractionated coconut, and fractionated just means it's always liquid. But you can also use other carrier oils like almond or jojoba or grapeseed, whatever you like. And then you just shake it up a little bit, and I take this with me everywhere. I breathe in from it when I'm on the go. Very quick and easy. And also I take this and I apply it, maybe a swipe under my nose, the back of my neck. I'll put it on my chest. As soon as I feel something coming on, that's what I do. And it just works like a charm. It's really amazing. So this is my main product that I use during yellow dust season. Also shown in the picture is a portable inhaler. And those are easy to find off Amazon as well. And it just has a cotton insert, and you put the essential oils onto the cotton, and then put that whole thing in the plastic case and carry it with you so you can breathe in oils. So that's another option as well. So that's your powerful trio right there. It's safe for kids and adults and seniors. It's just, if you're using it topically, you need to dilute it properly. And I have charts that I can share about how to dilute it by age. But it's very straightforward, very easy. If you've never made a roller ball before, because it seems like it's going to be a lot of work, it's not. It only takes a few seconds. Okay, what are some other natural solutions when it comes to seasonal irritants? There are some supplements you can take that include stinging nettle, quercetin, and spirulina. Also, consuming raw local honey. This is something that takes a little time, but it can help your body get used to what's in the local environment. So if you start this, it may not necessarily get you some relief this allergy season, but if you do it regularly, it might help you in the future. Also, this is maybe an obvious one, but showering more often to get all the yellow dust off of you. That's a natural solution as well. This might be something to remember to do with the kids. And also cleaning off your pets. Their pets can have this on them as well. And so keeping them clean can really help you. At the end of the day, just know that something like any kind of allergic reaction is an immune system issue. And so all the different things you can do to support your immune system will help you deal with seasonal irritants as well. We have a whole webinar on this topic alone. If you would like a link to review that, I would be happy to send that to you. But just know that if you're irritated by seasonal issues, that this is something that is a flag to support your immune system a little bit more. Okay, now we're going to move on to the bugs, repelling them and what to do if they bite or sting. If you think about it, plants are out in nature, completely exposed. One of the biggest jobs they have to do for themselves is repel bugs. So essential oils are phenomenal at this, and there's a lot of options. Some of the top ones are lemongrass, cedarwood, chamomile, geranium, and eucalyptus. And doTERRA also has a blend called TerraShield, which is specifically formulated to be really powerful at repelling bugs. So you can just use that blend or any of these others that you like. And lots of different options for what to do them. You can make them into a spray. The recipe is here. And again, I will send this to you so you don't have to scribble like crazy. You can also buy a pre-made one from doTERRA that's called the TerraShield spray. You can also just have your diffuser near you if you're sitting out in a patio or something. That will help. You can make a roller ball and roll it onto yourself, and that will help repel the bugs. And then if you do get bit or stung, know that the oils can be very, very soothing for that pain or that itch. Again, as you see, the lemon, lavender, peppermint is a pretty big trio for this time of year and really takes you very far. You can put them together in a roller ball and put it on a bug bite for some really, really nice relief. And so if you have someone in your family that the bugs just love this person, you want to make them their very own roller ball. It will really help them a lot. It also helps with stings. So just some instructions here about what to do with the bee sting and how to apply a little bit of oil to it. Again, when using essential oils topically, there are some you can put right on your skin and some that are too strong and you need to dilute them. And I think it's too confusing to worry about what's what. So I would say just dilute everything just to be on the safe side. Dilute it with a little bit of coconut oil. You probably have some of that in your kitchen. You can even do olive oil if you don't mind smelling like an Italian kitchen. But that will just help to ensure there's no skin irritation. It also helps drive the essential oils into your skin versus evaporating off. It does not make them less effective. So no downside to diluting essential oils. And of course, none of these have DEET in them. DEET is the conventional solution to repel bugs. It's a known irritant and it's linked to neurological problems. So it's a really big deal to avoid DEET and other chemicals with natural solutions. So what else can you do? You can grow herbs in your yard that naturally repel bugs. You can also put some vanilla extract on your skin, which is a bug repellent, which is an interesting fact you might know. And you can put apple cider vinegar on a bug bite. Apple cider vinegar is kind of like a seemingly cure-all in the natural solutions world. So having a bottle around will take you really far. Okay, we're going to move on to sunscreen, sunburns, and dry summer skin. So obviously, if you get a sunburn, you're going to be in a lot of pain. It's going to be very uncomfortable. And essential oils can be a big resource for you here. So you can use an after sun spray. This one has peppermint, melaleuca, and lavender, and frankincense. There's a lot of different options. If you feel like you want to make one, you don't have all 4 of those oils, no worries. You can make it just with one or 2, or there's other oils. So when oils have a chemical makeup, and there's always another oil that's fairly similar to it. And so I can always help you find something. That's a good thing I love about essential oils. So you don't have to have every single one. With a basic collection, you can really take care of most of your issues because they are so versatile. Also, sunscreens can contain a lot of dangerous ingredients. Luckily, there's starting to be more and more natural sunscreens available on the market. But if you're someone who just likes to save money or make your own because you have control over the ingredients, or you're someone with very sensitive skin and it's hard for you to buy commercial products, then you can make your own. And there's a little recipe here that, again, I will send to you, but just know that it is an option. I also love this picture on the bottom right that shows dry summer feet. So, when we're spending a lot of time walking in bare feet and on hot ground and the beach, our feet can get very dry and cracked and uncomfortable. So you can use your essential oils to help with this as well. And doesn't that just look so much more comfortable? So this is geranium, melaleuca, and peppermint. So as you can see, there are some that's just, a basic collection that you can use for a lot of different things. So one thing I did want to make a note about here is that it's important to know that citrus oils should not be used topically out in the sun. This could cause you to get more of a sunburn. So if you're planning on going out, you just wouldn't use something like lemon or orange or grapefruit, something like that. No citrus oils in the sun. Here's some other natural solutions for you. There are some natural products with SPF in them, including coconut oil, shea butter, zinc oxide, raspberry seed oil, carrot seed oil, and almond oil. So there are some ways to protect your skin without using chemicals. And again, if you have more specific questions about these things, I'm happy to send you more resources. But I just think it's really helpful to know how much Mother Nature has our backs. And, there might be, cheaper man-made solutions, but these work with our bodies, not against our bodies. So the last big topic we have to cover is about the pool. And this may be more interesting to the parents and grandparents of the group, but even if you're a swimmer, anyone in your house is swimming, there's going to be chlorine in that water. And you probably know that chlorine is not such a healthy thing to be, having on your skin. And of course, it's going to accidentally get ingested. So what are we going to do about this? So you can detox from chlorine, which I highly recommend. You can make a detox bath, and the recipe is here. And there are some other natural solutions as well that we'll get into, but just showering alone is actually not going to do it. I think we all tend to think we'll just rinse it off, and unfortunately that's not going to work. You can also put coconut oil on your skin beforehand to create a barrier between your skin and the chlorine. Also, vitamin C really neutralizes chlorine. So you can make your own vitamin C spray, or I'll send you a link to one you can get on Amazon. And that actually breaks the bonds between your skin and the chlorine to actually get it off. It's really, really cool. We also really want to talk about ears. If you have kids, they get earaches, ear infections really frequently. And if you take your kid in during the summer, the doctor's going to say, have you been doing a lot of swimming? This is a kid. It's summertime, of course. They're going to be doing a lot of swimming. So what can you do to be prepared ahead of time? That ear has got to drain, or it can create really bad problems that can escalate very quickly. So by using this combination of the Purify blend, lavender, and helichrysum, you can help the ear to drain. So what I do is make it up into a roller ball. And again, it'd be diluted for a child, depending on the age, but maybe it's 10 to 15 drops in a roller ball with some coconut oil. And after they're done swimming for the day, just rubbing it all around the ear, like so. And it just will really help everything to drain out. And you can even massage it a little bit because you want things to drain. So that should be really helpful. And obviously, if they know they have water in there, doing the pool dance, this thing to get the water out. Sometimes with little kids, you got to remind them, but you don't want water sitting there. You want it all draining out. And also another one I really like for ear health is melaleuca. Kind of anything ear related, I like melaleuca and lavender kind of all around the ear or on a cotton ball just sitting inside the ear. You never put it all the way in. But the melaleuca will help make sure things don't get infected. So that's a really wonderful one as well. And basil is great for ear health as well. You can also put a warm compress on it to help it to drain. So the top essential oils as far as like swimming and pool health are helichrysum, lavender, the Purify blend, and then the Zendocrine blend is a detoxification blend. It's oils that are specifically put together to help your body to de-junk and defunk. Our body has a natural process of doing this, but we tend to overload it. And so the Zen-Nichiren blend is just very helpful to support that system, de-junk and defunk, whether it's from the chlorine or a poor diet or other environmental toxins, whatever it is. Zen-Nichiren and lemon's another good option for that, is too. It's kind of the de-junk and defunk. So again, just a really important reminder about safety. The citrus oils, if you put them on your skin and then go out in the sun, it can cause you to get a sunburn. And that's even true if you put it in a diffuser necklace and have that on your skin, because some of it could leak out a little bit. So you don't even want to use citrus oils in a diffuser, bracelet or necklace and have that on your skin out in the sun. There are some blends, if you use doTERRA or other companies' products where they make up blends. You'll just have to be careful to read the label and to see if there's any citrus in there. For example, it's in Breathe, Elevation, On Guard. There's no problem with diffusing these things in the summertime or in the sun. It's just topically on your skin. So just be careful about that as summertime is coming up. Let's see. Let me know if you have any questions at this point. Let me know. I'm going to try the chat box. We're going through this very quickly. My goal here is not to overwhelm anybody by giving you too much information. So whether you're a beginner or been using oils a long time, I want you to have some really good ideas ahead of summer, so you can be really prepared and you're not having a bad issue and then rushing around to find your oils. Also, I want to make sure to discuss why doTERRA. So doTERRA is the company that Carmen and I are with, and there's a lot of reasons why we chose doTERRA. This is something I was extremely picky about and researched for a long time. And I just felt that if there was going to be a product that I was going to be recommending to my family, my friends, and my clients, it had to be something I was 100% confident in. It had to be completely pure and safe. The company had to be very transparent. So you can take your actual bottle of oil and put in the information from it into an app called Source to You and find out the testing data on your specific batch of oil, not some batch at some point in some time, could have been 10 years ago, your batch. They're very transparent, and there's no other essential oil company that's doing this. And you have to just remember that essential oils are not regulated. The FDA is really not involved with supplements. These are not drugs. These are natural plant materials. This comes from Mother Nature. So it's not a drug. It doesn't go through a drug trial. And so the entire supplement industry is pretty unregulated. So you might see bottles of essential oil that say 100% pure and all natural, and it doesn't mean the gosh darn thing, unfortunately. So you have to be really careful about marketing and really look at it for yourself. When something is this powerful and therapeutic, it's something you have to be careful about. And if it's a real cheap price, it's probably for a reason. And that could be that it's very highly diluted. It could just not contain what it says it contains. There's a lot of fraud exposures going on right now where different companies are being tested and it's found that they simply don't contain what it says they contain, like not at all. Or it contains the wrong species, so it kind of looks good, but once it's tested, it's not the species that's the therapeutic species that you want. Or there's just no careful protection around keeping pesticides out of it, that sort of a thing. So doTERRA standards are beyond organic. It's not labeled organic because it comes from a lot of different countries. And so the standards are different in every country, and it just becomes like a political labeling nightmare, but they're very transparent with all of their testing and all of their standards, and it's beyond organic, and I trust it completely. We use this in our household. I let my kids use it. I recommend it to my best family and friends. So I really feel comfortable. There's Carmen.
What happened? Like I was not able to get in at all. I had to go and completely unplug and hop in on a completely different system.
Oh no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I've been sending you messages. I'm like, help me.
Oh no, so sorry. Well, we'll go back and let you chime in on the topics. We covered the essential oils piece. and a couple other natural solutions. We'll just jump back and have you jump in.
Okay. I have no idea what happened. The link kept saying not allowed or not, the meeting not in progress. So go ahead and continue and we'll go back. Sorry. I don't
That's
know.
okay. That's okay.
Technology.
So Andrea, you said, is it okay to use citrus oils on diffuser jewelry? Yes, but you don't want to do it in the sun because it could come out a little bit onto your skin and cause a sunburn. So I would just avoid them topically and in jewelry in the sun, in the summertime. So, okay, I'm going to go back up. So Carmen, we talked about seasonal irritants and we talked about how to use essential oils, and really the essential oils provide a lot of rapid relief, and there's things that you can do, which I know you want to speak to, about boosting your immune system to really help long-term with reducing your reaction to seasonal threats. But when you need some rapid relief, the essential oils are really powerful. So do you want to jump in and talk from the non-oil side of seasonal irritants and allergies and the immune system?
Yeah, there's a couple of things I wanted to make sure that I commented on. Did you guys talk about the neti pot at all?
We didn't.
Okay. So, I was a person that I didn't even know what an allergy was. I grew up in Minnesota. So up there, it was cold and frozen all the time. So you never had time to sneeze before something froze, right? So when I got pregnant in Tennessee, in this state, people come here from all over the world and they get an allergy. Like all of a sudden they are introduced to allergies for some reason. We have just a really high, pollen imprint. But I got pregnant and all of a sudden I couldn't breathe or see. My eyes were watering and it was misery. And I went to the doctor. I was like, I think I'm sick or I'm dying. Something's wrong. And he was like, it's allergies. And so interestingly enough, why I'm telling you this story is because pregnancy is a stressor. We know that, right? It's a stressor on the body. It's a stressor on the gut. It's a stressor. So what happened to me was I got pregnant. My body got stressed by the pregnancy, which we all do. And it lowered my immunity. Like my gut, the immune system, of course, 80% of it is in our gut. It lowered my immunity. So my gut wasn't functioning as well with pregnancy, which everything changes. And then I was introduced to allergies. So I remember one of the things that was really powerful for me was I felt I have that instinctual need to wash everything off. Like you have down here, showering off the yellow dust. I had this instinct that I needed to wash everything. And I also felt like I needed to wash my nose, inside my nose. Like blowing for me did not feel as cleansing. So I looked up how to cleanse the nostrils, sprays and things like that. The neti pot kept coming across my radar. So I went and bought one. And lo and behold, I wasn't stopped up to the point where it wasn't draining. At that point, was using over-the-counter medications. But that was one of the top things that helped to almost wash the yellow dust out of my sinuses. So within about 3 days, I started breathing better. And so we still use the neti pot today. My son's allergies right now, we're neti potting. I think it can be one of the most powerful tools for that. But never underestimating the power of the immune system, which lies in the gut. So when you're under stress, of course, reducing all of those enzymes and the stomach acid and all of that is going to make you more susceptible to reacting to any kind of allergy or, something stirred up in the air. So that's one of the first things I always try to think of. Like we're heading into it right now. My son's allergies started on Saturday while I was gardening, but now, it snowed. I was in tank top and shorts on Saturday grounding and doing my garden. And on Monday it snowed. So, I don't know what that tells you, but it tells you that things are a little crazy around here, but we are heading into really, really high allergy season. And I've got everything out. I've got the On Guard. I've got the bone broths pulled out and ready to go. I have definitely got the neti pot set up with the salt water. So those are the things that I really try to support in this time frame. It's kind of an automatic for me. I pull the little container out, I put it on the counter, and we just kind of roll with those things. You mentioned raw local honey, and I love that you said that because, many times people they go for the bee pollen, and that's not always a great idea. And I can't give you details on why. I've heard that cannot be as beneficial, but as the local honey. So I love that you're sharing that as well. Stinging nettle was one of the things I was going to recommend as a tincture and not necessarily a capsule. Because when we do our capsules, we have to remember that everything that's in a capsule has to go through a couple of breakdown systems. And sometimes when we're dealing with, and it's not a bad thing, you guys, to take medication if you have to survive, if you've got to take Zyrtec or something like that, and just to get through, don't shame yourself about it. It can be one of those things that just gets you through those hard times. But, you know, you're also subjecting the liver to the process of removing more things from the system, which can, you know, put a burden on the liver and the gut as well. So I try to always go to the foundations. What are we putting in our mouths that can be creating a bigger burden for the gut, which can damper down that immune system even more? Is that helpful?
Totally. Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah. And also keeping the mucus loose is one of those other things that, you know, having the lemon water or the warm, just plain warm water with honey or plain warm water, but having plenty of water. And every time I think about this, I think about water diluting the snot. And I know that sounds gross, but that's what I think of in my mind. The more water I drink, the more it waters down the mucus, and it doesn't end up back into our digestive system, which is, my son said yesterday, he goes, Mom, my stomach's kind of hurting. And I said, that's because you're swallowing your snot, honey. You got to start blowing your nose, you know? So this morning he was like, all right, I've got my Kleenex. You know, I said, you know, whenever possible, blow your nose. Because when you swallow that, you're putting that yuck and guck and bacteria and stuff back down into the gut, which can upset your immune system, right?
Right.
Isn't that just such common sense sometimes? And then we're like, well, I need to take all these things. And we're like, how about just don't swallow your snot? So those are my top things for us around here. And, you know, I'm knocking on wood everywhere, but so far so good on for me, because I've had some of these. I've been doing the lavender. I've been doing the peppermint. I clean my floors with wood cleaner, but I used eucalyptus drops in the natural wood cleaner. So I've been doing quite a few of these. So I'm glad to see them on there, because I'm new to this whole oil stuff too in all different areas.
Yeah, and I was saying to everybody, for me, I always had to head to the pharmacy in April, May, because I was just completely miserable and everything was terrible. And since doing the lavender, peppermint, and lemon, I mean, it's just been remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
And that I am finding, I've helped a couple hundred people now to learn how to use oils, and I'm finding that that's the one that helps most people. But if that does not work for you, you can use the Breathe blend. You can also try ginger, eucalyptus. Like, there's several options. Everyone's just a little different, and it requires some experimentation sometimes, but it's remarkable about how much relief they can bring. So just know that even if you've been on something conventional for a long time, that try it and see if it just doesn't work really well for you. And that doesn't mean you do everything on this list. You can do one thing, you do a couple things, whichever you're comfortable with, depending on, you know, if you're a beginner or if you're more of an expert. But just know that start somewhere, you know, start trying some of these natural solutions, and I bet you'll be surprised how well they work.
Yeah. And there are some, I want to say it's some other natural things for allergies. I think, is it that word, that horrible word? I think we talked about this last time, oscillum, whatever that is. You know what I'm talking about? It's got orange and yellow stripes on it. Oscillum.
Oh, oscillococum. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that. Okay, good. Good for you. You know how to say it. Show off. No, I'm just kidding. But I think that they also have come out with something that is for allergies. I'm not 100% positive, but then also Zeebees. I think it's called Zeebees for children, Zeebees. I believe that they have an all natural, like a mucus relief as well. Like, you know, you can take something to thin the mucus. I just think that the mucus is one, it's almost like a glue trap. It's like a spider web for bacteria and yellow dust. And if you have it in your sinuses or your throat, it's almost like a magnet. That stuff's going to stick to it. So getting rid of the mucus can actually improve everything when it comes to moving through this type of year.
Cool. And guys, you're listening, I'm going to look that up and send you a link. So when I send you the notes, I'll send you a link to some of this stuff, so you don't have to go crazy trying to look for it now. Okay. Carmen, then we talked about bugs, repelling them, and if they bite or sting, and how obviously plants, this is one of the biggest things they have to do, completely exposed out in nature, that they need to do for themselves. So obviously it makes sense you can use essential oils to do this for us. And we talked about growing herbs, apple cider vinegar on a bite. And I don't know if you know this, but I found out that putting a vanilla extract on your skin can also repel bugs.
Oh my gosh, that stuff's so expensive. I can't even imagine that. Can you? Right? You'd be like, you know, I don't know. Do you remember back in the olden days, I'm aging myself here, but of Avon with the Skin So Soft, right? Do you remember that?
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I don't remember where we talked about this recently. Did you guys talk about that at all?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay. So for those of you who are my age, 47 or older, back in the Avon days, you know, that was the number one thing to coat yourself in was Skin So Soft, and it worked. I don't know what was in it. that worked, but I never got bit. And the mosquitoes in Minnesota they're like small birds. So like everyone talks about that being the state bird because the mosquitoes are so enormous and they're so plentiful, which is crazy because you'd think they'd freeze half, of them before the summer rolled around. But anyway, and we used to put that all over our skin so soft. Yeah. Andre is saying I used it too. I'll have to look at what the ingredient in it was that worked. But anyway, the point is that I thought I was doing something great by using that, right? I'm not using those bug sprays, that everyone else uses. And then I remember reading the label and comparing to EWG. Well, it's just as bad, as not worse, with some of the things that are in there, the chemicals, right? So anyway, I just wanted to bring that point up because sometimes we think that we could be using something that's good for us, a lotion or an oil or a cream that says all natural or whatever, but it's loaded with parabens and phthalates and all of those things that we're supposed to be avoiding. So even better to do something like this where you're making it yourself and you know that it doesn't contain those toxic ingredients.
Yeah. And just know, like some people say, oh, it's just one thing, who cares? But nobody uses just one thing. It's your bug spray and it's your lotion and it's your laundry detergent and your cleaning supplies and your hairspray and your eyeshadow and, on and on and on and on. And it's just too much and it overloads your system really quickly.
Yeah, totally. And I am a 100% believer and user of the citronella plants. In fact, when Lowe's puts them out, I'm watching because we have a Lowe's where everything comes out front. When you go to the grocery, you drive by, you can see what's out, When I see they're out, I'm like, I literally pull in and I buy like 6 of them and I put them around my doors. And I have yet to have a mosquito inside the house as long as I have them by the doors. But I will say this, they get monster sized. So, they get absolutely huge. So you don't even really I needed 6 because we've got a lot of doors, but one by a front door, one by a back door or whatever is really powerful. They cannot stand it. If you like when my dogs would come to the back door, and you've been to my house, so I would have a plant on either side of that door and it would come through the railing, the bigger it got. And my dogs would come in, and if they're all 3 of them wanted in at the same time, they get kind of pushy. They would come in and they would smell like citronella, all of their fur just from barely touching that plant. It is super powerful. So, I can tell you it works. I know, I will not go a summer without them.
Awesome. Very good. Cool. All right. Moving on to sunscreen, sunburns, and dry summer skin. We talked about how oils can help with all of these things and how, with the sunscreens, I think there's a lot of good options that are available now that, companies are putting more and more options on the market. You still have to be really careful. The marketers can be tricky. You have to really know what you're buying. Mm-hmm. But for people who just want to save money or who are really sensitive and tend to react to stuff and want control over what's in there, or some people just like to DIY. I can't pretend that I'm one of them, but some people just really love DIY. So just, that there's so many wonderful make your own such and such with essential oils. And I didn't get into it for a long time, but now I do make sprays, like a pillow spray or a cooling spray or a cleaning spray. And it's just so ridiculously easy. Mm-hmm. And it's such a big money saver. So if you're listening and you're not a DIY person, just know that making something like a spray is like 10 seconds and no money. So
yeah, and it's easier than being one of those people that makes a cream and the cream turns out like a liquid and you're like, what happened? What did I do? And then you're frustrated. Been there. I do want to make a comment though at the bottom here where you have the after spray, sun spray, topped off with water or aloe juice. So there is a liquid, if anybody's interested. I drink it. I use it to take my supplements when I'm doing that. But George's Aloe has absolutely no fillers. It has nothing else in it. And drinking aloe can be super powerful for the immune system also because it protects the gut lining. It's almost like if you open up an aloe plant, which is what my mom used to do, she used to cut them in half and then rub them on my bug bites or my sunscreen when I was little. This particular brand of George's doesn't have any flavor or anything, but it is also very, it's very liquidy. It's just like, it literally tastes and looks like water. So you could even use that aloe from George's to create any of your done or your DIYs. It sprays like a water, tastes like a water. So it could be a dual resource for something like that.
Oh, that's awesome. Where do you get that?
Oh my gosh, Vitamin Shop sells it by the gallon. Amazon, VitaCost. You can get it anywhere. You just have to look it up. George's, I think I got it at Amazon last time, and then I found out the Vitamin Shop carries the gallons because I get the big ones. So yeah.
Okay. I'll look that link up and send it to you guys when I send out the email so you can check
Yeah,
it out.
it's a great brand.
Awesome. That's great. Okay. And then we talked about ears. I know you wanted to tell a story about Brayden. Ears and detoxing from chlorine.
Okay, Brayden's ears have always, he's been swimming since I think he was 9 months old the first time we threw him in a pool. Well, we didn't throw him in the pool. We got a swim instructor to help him learn how to swim. So he's been swimming since he was a tiny little guy, and always has had swimmer's ear. Like swimmer's ear is like his signature problem, that and poison ivy. If it's poison ivy, the wind blows and some oil comes off a plant, it's going to land on my kid, and then we're going to have full-blown impetigo in a week. It's terrible. So anyway, with the swimmer's ear, we've had many years, he's 13 now, so I've had many years of trying things to help dry up the ears, try to prevent the inflammation, all of that. So our last little bout with this was we were in Costa Rica a couple years ago. And for anyone who's never been to another country, first of all, we had a blackout. Okay, so there was no power in the entire Manuel Antonio area that we were living in, and the traffic was backed up, and workers there just don't panic, you guys. They could care less if there's power. They don't care about cell phones. They just sit back at lunchtime and they work when they want. So here we are trying to find a ride or a place to get to a pharmacy because his ear was so painful. So we go down and we get all this medicine. Well, we can't read it. I mean, it's just like a thwarted effort. Okay. So what I found to work really well for him was just plain old drops of alcohol, right? That I put in his ear. I think the oil that I had with me on that trip was one of those little containers of lavender, I want to say. Okay. And what I did with it, I just rubbed it on the outside of his ear, on the mastoid bone, just to kind of calm the area down a little bit because it was red. And then we laid him on his side. We put some alcohol in there. And then we flipped him over and we put a warm compress under his ear so that any wax that might be retaining the water loosened up and allowed that to drain. And he was like, and he felt it just kind of seep out. So that's kind of been one of those things that I like to do. I do the lavender on the outside of the ear, and then always with a carrier oil for him because he's Mr. Sensitive. But and then warm compress to drain the ear. And I love that you've got this the chlorine detox bath because for people who don't know, did you talk about chlorine being a halide and competing with thyroid and all of that kind of stuff too?
No, we didn't get into that.
Okay, so super good tip here, you guys, is that we swim in. Not we, because we haven't been to a pool in 2 years because my son has gone all summer to camp. But when he was growing up, we used to go to the country club. We'd swim every single day. I mean, 5-6 days a week. It's where we lived. And that kid was always, his eyes were so bad and his skin would be itchy and dry. And I mean, it was like he got out of there and just turned into this little old miserable person, but then he's like, I want to go, Mom, again, so we went through this. So what I found out, as time went on over the years, I learned about how, and he was also very tired, not just from the exertion, but seemed a little bit different after he would go swimming. And so what I learned over the years was that, chlorine is such a toxic ingredient. It is so toxic, you guys, that it goes after the endocrine system, and it doesn't take much. It doesn't take but one day of swimming where it could actually affect you. No, it depends on of course, your health status and things like that. Thank God kids are resilient. They bounce back pretty quickly, but chlorine can actually compete with your thyroid hormones. So making sure that if you are exposed to chlorine on a regular basis, that doing something like the detox bath can be very helpful. Also knowing your iodine status as well. Iodine is one of those things that I think we're pushing to the side too much for all of the benefits. We have to think about the fact that we need iodine to have a healthy endocrine system, but we also need iodine for healthy breast tissue and things like that. So looking into iodine in the summertime as a way to kind of displace some of this chlorine and halide activity on the endocrine system can be also very powerful as well.
Which is pretty important also in particular for the girls.
Mm-hmm.
If we're talking breast health and you're talking about a young girl, that's a big deal.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What is the guy's name? I wish I could remember his name. Help me here. Brownstein. What's his first name? I have like 1,000 authors in my head, but so Brownstein's his last name, and all you got to do is put in iodine and Brownstein. You're going to get the entire. Is it David? Thank you, Andre. Always count on somebody. That's one of my students telling me who's what. So David Brownstein has an amazing series on halides and iodine and all of that. So a good resource right there as well. And you know what? Let's never underestimate. And just like taking my brain back to the bug bite thing. My kid ate a bumblebee when he was little, like one of those bees that sits in the ground, bumble. Is it bumblebee? That doesn't even sound right. Okay, it's a little yellow and black bee, whether it was a wasp, I don't know. But anyway, he ate it. He picked it up out of the ground and he ate it. Okay, I know, right? And so my mother-in-law, I've told this story before, but my mother-in-law comes running in and she says, I don't know what's wrong with him. He's screaming. I said, there's something in his mouth because he was doing this. So he opened up his mouth and she pulled the bee out, but the stinger got stuck under the tongue, you know?
Oh no.
Yes, it got stuck, and it was, you could see it pumping venom into to underneath the, was it a yellow jacket? Thank you, Andre, once again, our resource queen. She's so awesome. Anyway, we got the bee out, we got the stinger pulled out, and we just we gave him a popsicle and had him hold the popsicle underneath there. So let's not forget the natural power of water that's frozen to soothe our skin, to soothe our bug bites, to soothe the sunburns and things like that as well too. But also throwing in the caveat, with peppermint and things like that respond to temperature, that you never want to, you mix your peppermints and things like that with anything cold or anything hot. Did you guys talk about that too?
No.
Okay. So just like the deep blue or something like that, you don't want to put deep blue on and then sit on a heating pad, right? Because it's got those mint oils in it. Same types of things for ice too. You never want to put peppermint oil on something and then throw ice on it. From what I understand and have experienced, it can be kind of painful. But I always like to kind of go back to the basics since we're talking about natural solutions, and let's just not forget about how powerful and soothing just cold water and ice can be as well for these types of things.
Yeah, it's a great point. All right, that is all of our content. We talked about safety, just a super quick review because it's so important. No citrus oils on your skin in the sun, including jewelry, diffuser jewelry. We don't want anyone to get in sunburn. Okay, so I wanted to let you guys know, if you are not yet with doTERRA, there's a crazy awesome deal going this month where you can place a qualifying order to get some of these products, start trying them for yourself, and you'll get 50 product credits for free. It's an unusually awesome deal. You can just, like I was saying before, you don't need every oil that ever existed. You can get a basic set and be good to go for so many different issues. And also when you join Carmen and I and our doTERRA team, we just are really passionate about education. So we make sure that you know exactly what to do. You get these things in the mail and you go, what the heck did she say? What am I supposed to do? You have a wellness consult with me. I make sure you know exactly what you're supposed to be doing. We come up with a daily routine that you're comfortable with, so it's not overwhelming and it's not too much, and you don't feel like you're doing a million things. It's just one more thing on your list. It becomes just a habit, like brushing your teeth. You start experimenting, you start feeling better. You start finding your just right blend, whether it's for all of these summer challenges, maybe it's for stress management, sleeping better, head tension or pain, different women's health issues, basically whatever you want to know about, we have a way to help you get educated. It's like a buffet of options depending on your learning preference. So you can get one-on-one with me, you can join our Facebook group, you can take an online class, you can listen to a webinar, you can read a book, whatever you like, we have a way for you to learn. And we're all about education and empowerment. So we just believe when you know more, you can feel better. And there's just so much information that your doctor's not giving to you because they don't even necessarily know. But let's just get back to, natural and Mother Nature and food is medicine. As like Carmen said, the water, the power of water, and just, we can get back to basics and really help ourselves. So just know that if you're not yet with doTERRA, if you're completely new to essential oils, doTERRA is an amazing company. If you use a different brand of essential oils and you want to try something new, what most people say is they really feel and smell the difference when they use doTERRA oils. The sourcing is just, it's just different, and we won't get into the details of that. But if you want more details on anything we discussed, if you want personalized recommendations, you can just get in touch and we'll make that happen.
And I want to make a comment to you guys. So this is one of the things I think is super powerful for moms, parents, of course, but usually it's the moms that go all woo woo with the kids and stuff. I share a lot of stories about my life growing up and when I'm teaching and when I'm doing webinars and this kind of thing. And I share those stories that are about how my mom started us off this way. Like she started us with oils and using oils on our skin and in our ears and all of those things. And Yes, life took over when we got in high school. We got busier. We moved away from all of the stone ground wheat and the homemade yogurt and the bean sprouts and all of that. But that's what I always return to. So if you have children, just know that no matter how old they are, what you're, or if they, they don't even, if you think they don't know what you're doing, that's okay too. But you're educating them that the first step isn't always necessarily going to go to the pharmacy, to a pill, to something that's going to cause their immune system to have to work even harder. You're educating them at the very beginning of their life. And I promise you, as a child of the 70s, I remember all of those little things that my mom did to make a difference in my life in a natural way. And I think, 47 years later or whatever, certain smells come back to me, like vanilla and lavender and things like that, and remind me of that time. So, if you think your kids don't know, if you think it's not powerful or whatever for them because of their age, really, truly, it is. It imprints on them. This is the time to get them changing their mind about how they're going to handle life when they're no longer with you. Okay. I mean, my kid, that's the first thing he says, Mom, where's the neti pot? When he starts to get that way, or he turns on his little diffuser. I'm pointing over here like you can see his bedroom because that's where it is. But he's like, what's in the diffuser? And so, if there's a significant amount of homework or stress, I put lavender in there. He doesn't even know it, and I'll turn it on. When people are getting sick at school, I'll clean it out, put some doTERRA or some On Guard in there and turn it on. And, he half the time he's like, what do we got in here now? But he loves it. And I think it's kind of an interesting way to just kind of let them have more control over their health, as opposed to giving all that control over to someone outside of this nuclear home and family. So I just want to say, start early. If you're a parent or a mother, starting early can really set your kids up for success later on.
Yeah, obviously I wholeheartedly agree. And it was a pretty cool moment when my 5-year-old was like, my tummy hurts. And he walked over to my oil box and was like, which one is for that? Or like my 9-year-old was like, his head hurt. And he's like, I think I might need some peppermint. And he walked over and and it's like, this is so cool. Like they do learn, they do know. And he's not, their first reaction is not going to be like, which pill should I take? Or, walking aimlessly around the pharmacy, like trying to figure out what to take. It's just about oils, and it's about maybe you need to go to bed early.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe and just all of that things, and oils are just part of your toolkit.
Yep.
And, if you're just beginning with this, I think oils are a great place to start, because it can feel overwhelming to try to address all of this at once and change your food and change 10 things. The oils are they can be very straightforward with a little bit of coaching. They're safe, they're effective, they're cost efficient. It's just a really great place to start. And it's very empowering to have them on hand and how much they can help.
Yeah. And I have to say that my favorite way to use oils, my absolute favorite way, I have a diffuser in almost, I would say, besides the bathroom, in the basement, I've got a diffuser in almost every room. And I absolutely love, after, if we're going out for a soccer game and we know we're going to get home late, I'll do some lavender in the diffusers and I'll turn them on. So we come home in the evening, it's evening time, so that the house smells calming and soothing. Like, I love diffusers. I am a super fan. It's funny because I have friends that come over that are kind of getting used to me and my stuff. And if they're first to my house, they're like, what is that smoke coming out of that thing? And then they'll walk over and they'll put their face over it. I'm like, well, you don't need to get your face over it, but it's, it's a diffuser. And so one of my favorite gifts to give is a diffuser to new friends or people that are new to my life that are just trying to get healthier and on a different path. And I'll give them an oil and I give them a diffuser and send them out the door, So, for those of you who are big sniffers like me, I love scent. I love fragrance. It changes my mood. It makes me feel soothed. And it really works for my kids and my kid and my dogs too. It's my favorite thing to do is diffuse.
Yeah. This is a question I get a ton. So since you brought up diffusers, I'll just answer it quickly since I know people will ask. How do you know you're getting a good diffuser? A good diffuser is made from a higher grade plastic that will not be disintegrated by a citrus oil. Most diffusers are not made from this type of plastic. I have bought diffusers from a lot of places and they just don't last. Mm-hmm. My doTERRA ones are lasting for years. They're made by a company called Green Air, and they're made in a very specific way. I also have people who say, they have issues with other companies' diffusers and the mist doesn't come out consistently, or it's all water, there's no oil, just all the issues. So just pay, it's typically the price of a doTERRA diffuser is often the same, or if it's slightly more, it's going to last you for so long, and you're not going to have to deal with all the hassles. They're very easy to clean. They're very easy to operate. We have several different models. It's just worth it. They're good stuff.
Yeah, I agree, because I've got one that's a cheap one, and I mean, you can't even tell. I have to get down sideways and look from the side to see if it's puffing anything. And then like you'll see a big blast and you're like, oh, it's working. And then you're like, oh no, it's not. And so I'm going to wait till it dies and I'll throw it away. But I mean, it's just not worth it. It's not worth it.
Yeah. Andre, thank you so much for your comment. She said that we're very patient answering questions and such. I love it. People always say, I don't want to bother you. I'm sorry for bothering you. Bother away. I love getting questions, and on our team, you get access to as much free coaching as you ever want. So
yeah, and that's key, because I still get coached by you. If I need something, I will message you, and you're always there. And it's, just so you guys know, even if I was raised on oils, I wasn't raised on oils like this. Like, this is different. So I'm learning with you, and that's why we do these types of things. And again, I just wanted to say I'm sorry for I don't know what happened to the link. And I have to tell you that nothing's been the same since we had that storm last week and all the power went out and the outages and stuff. So just again, my apologies for being late. That is not typically my MO to not be present. So I'm sorry about that.
The blessing and the curse of technology, right?
Oh gosh, yeah. That's life.
Right.
I mean, it happens.
All right. So just a quick recap. If you're not yet with doTERRA, we'd love to have you. You can get 50 points of free product during the month of April. You can come have fun with us in our Facebook group. We have education and giveaways and lots of fun stuff. I will send you an email because you registered. I have your email address. I will send you a recap of all this. You'll get the replay. You'll get links. You'll get all this information. So feel free to be in touch with me anytime if you have questions or want more information, or if you would like to join us. And so with that, we hit the hour mark on the dot, which I've never done before. That is so cool. So thanks for your time, everybody. Thanks, Carmen, for jumping on, and we'll all talk soon.
Yeah. Thanks for hosting again. Thanks.